free no ho meshem komono ase the free no ho save the judiciary demonstration anapay yadi hu komo bebre yamfa komono enhya ase free ho honorable akwa babio
CJ mejoso
na demonstration no afei na wo bekọ na wo free ho na ebe
in fact for this my wo hanom ache me ba Joy Prime eko Adom eko kum koya de esan ba back to Mohanum ewia ebesanko to join me colleagues are or more for that more demonstration. I'll go back to join them. And for my information, they are even heading towards National Theatre. That's what I'm picking. Meaning some Pahua, but I'm happy and so happy about the turnout of the people who have come out to demonstrate to save your judiciary. As I say, young Omampeni and in our buying a pese didane amanyosem. CJ, I didn't offer sad demonstration aba. I say nipa minu say miensa o so nine o say num edi petition edi akoma Omampeni say Chief Justice Arabato Kono Omo Nsem bi edika efa ne ho anaso wadanya momu ya omogidi se saa ne a wo ye no ne a waye no famra kwan so enu nti no omode akoma Omampeni na Omampeni engina enu so na wonfa enyi nedi basije emu bi wo ho a ye feel se ya nhwe ni yie a the president minister na muka otwi mu
esa ebe kasabia
toa obi bia sebi okita position bia no ene na oni Omampeni na ewo so no ni mre no ebe pepepe okwa na ese wukọ sebi se wo ahoden nyansa ene nilie a obetumi edi aboa institution na owo mu no enu krapo no esan amanyosem ti no esese wukọ and me can't wait the from the one say there are some institutions bi wo ha and say the politics then e bi fra and the tosu menu so no esese e manipa kwan na omun fa ye friend is saying omun pass it through the mill na omun attaining certain positions are the highest position no I wedding what the institution that they find themselves. One IGP CJ Omampeni bi bebe bia no obeyi IGP fio no the IGP fufraba prisons ebeyi penny fire service ebeyi chief fire officer immigration ebeyi no customs ebeyi no meanwhile no ebia na nipa kono knowledge awenya and experience awenya no it can change the institution in which they find themselves. But because of politics intino, ne yi nipa na eden efi ho. In some ayedi ka afa the current Supreme Court judge niami unless there's any other but dia mate nia obi ai de abiesu akyere me no me personally no me hu say eye asema as I president ejina enu so no ka say based on ya nikofo ne dia bremi ne me dia commerce council of state so edi moye aba through the spokesperson of council of state Sami Jemfi edi aba say out of the 31 members of the council of state no 30 of them say president and suspending your friend is saying Chief Justice. Na onti committee per what the constitution cano na oye den ne ese oye ni bia na den oye but CJ yes per the constitution yes say obi e wasem efa Supreme Court judge bi hu anase chief of staff your friend chief justice ho a kwan efa so any adamo as say president eden ebetu but the point they say yes president etu ama anamo na say otu no but president enum nsem ena yeremu bi ho no ye di boa president eden ne fo nenum nsem o ena ye di eden e di boa ne fo
nsem ben
2024 President Enya Akwenya Ekoshia NDC lawyers. And that is one thing so it will create a big problem for us in this country. Because they say na me do ka say your MPP lawyers, NDC lawyers, MPP doctors, NDC doctors, NDC teachers, MPP teachers, MPP journalists, NDC journalists, NDC hosts of radio stations, MPP hosts of radio stations. That's what he was to say. What's the number? I catch you. Say even public toilets. No, yeah, no NDC and MPP management. Okosia NDC lawyers no. Ewada. Almost year conference. Edu President John Mahama so at that time no a flag bearer. Obe Kasano. Or say a can lawyers akuku dama. Omu na ya MPP for. Ye can lawyers say do super Ghana ha do na ya MPP for. Na mu kakra no so amu NDC mo elo les no so mu bom hu modern the way I say mu bom hu modern. Enti me sremo. Mu bom hu modern say na be ya nyame ya ado na say me Ghana for to abama me a. Say na MPP for assessor judges ade akogu Supreme Court no. Me so ma say mu akoye akogu Supreme Court. But CJ, the question that we need to ask ourselves, Supreme Court judges, is it by political appointment? It depends what John Mahama eka no. Mr. Aka say, and the 7 judges and John Mahama any of Supreme Court were appointed are waiting. Your friend is saying parliamentary vetting and approval. No, can I also say they are NDC judges? Per what John Mahama said, can I also say that? So at the end of the day, no, we have tagged the judiciary by NDC and MPP. Meanwhile, no, they are independent people with independent mind taking a decision. That is why in some cases, no, you will not go to the Supreme Court for an issuer. Obia omunya akofako. Obia na adwen. Ubekai 2012, 2020. Your friends a petition, election petition.
Yes.
Did they all unanimously actually the same verdict?
No.
Behind the verdict.
Yeah.
Because they all have their own mind. But the moment we start to label them politically, that is where we have a problem. And that's our fear. So if we a magistrate court, call Boja, na yet to me a chief justice, then where lies your strength as a magistrate? Saying to me you as a judge and free honor. That is the reason why a movie war we felt that yes, there's a need for us to demonstrate for let him understand. So look, if care is not taken, we have set a precedent. Obi biawa appointment biano, your term of office ends with President John Mahama. So today, if you remove Tokonu as a chief justice, and you may adopt 2028, 2029, whoever is the chief justice will sack the person. Whoever President Mahama will appoint as a chief justice, 2029, per what he is doing today, the person will go. And maybe it might not only be that person, but all people who have been appointed by John Mahama as chief justice, as judges at the Supreme Court, no, they will all go.
No, but honorable say, Judicial answer me who year. So they will all go, and then new people will be appointed. So MPP for Abema, then NDC bar, then on the more appointed.
That is what I'm saying.
They will all go. But is this the way to go?
That's not the way to go, but that's what he wants us to go by. And that's my fear for this country. That is my fear. That is my fear. And I'm saying, sir, we no more Nsem no, and now you did boo for because of what you have said previously. And we have heard some NDC communicators, MPs, ministers who have sat on radio and TV and who are saying, sir, you join the campaign, you win here, you be way. In fact, Sammy Defi, my own brother and friend, he threatened the police at the full glare of the media. Also, we have seen all of you. In fact, on several occasions on their platform, on their campaign, and even engagement. Also, we know them. It started from the military. And then, if I told you the agitation at the military, CJ, you'll be surprised. Because Obi Okta 4-star, 3-star. Near Kofa Obi Okta 1-star. Yes, you be army officer. And you know in the military, they give respect to the senior. It is Obi Awomechi, Mienu se Miensa. Now, so on number miswa, the only option I have is to what? Is to resign. Because I will not be saluting my junior. That is the extent at which the so-called resetting has brought this country. We are resetting. No. And then, is that what we call resetting? Where we are demoting army officers their position? Are we resetting where we are changing the chief justice and appointing people who are affiliated to our political party? Is that what we are doing today? Is that a resetting? That's why, because I fear for this country of ours.
All right.
That if care is not taken, if you are here, look, every president have a 4-year mandate. And me from no, CJ, I want to say this. We will resist any attempt by the president and the NDC government. Any attempt to pack the Supreme Court, which he promised, he will come to Ghanaians and ask whether there should be a cap at the Supreme Court and appoint 7 other people. And we are hearing. So we're confirming where we are, or the people we call, because they are planning to go for an interpretation of a presidential tenure. And whoever becomes the Supreme Court judge will whip people online. Will resist. Because one thing I'm happy about, there are people in NDC.
Don't worry,
there are people in NDC.
Chairman, about the CCR.
Oh, Chairman.
Honorable Sifa,
there are people
in 30
in
seconds.
NDC
30 seconds.
who are against. There are people in NDC who are against.
How can you tell that there are people in NDC?
We are, look, CJ,
Honorable,
the best friends of Chairman Adekuka.
Okay,
they are all in MPP. The best friends of Honorable Adekuka, they are all in MPP.
Honorable Nina Nati.
The best friends. I have a lot of best friends in NDC.
All right, Honorable Ebenezer Nina Nati and I tell but there's this writer, Dr. Atta Kennedy or Trey. This morning I've engaged him on phone on my show, but for the purposes of this discussion, my main kind kakra na menko chairman. So, judicial independence and accountability. The judiciary has been in the news quite a bit in the last week. The president has nominated 7 new justices to the Supreme Court while the CJ is facing proceedings for her removal. Unfortunately, the reaction of these 2 issues have been partisanized and conflated. The president, who campaigned rightly against the MPP, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led attempt to pack the court and politicize it, is doing the same thing. Regardless of the quality of the nominees involved, this initiative by the president would be damaging to the reputation of the court. Of course, the hypocrisy of the political class is underlined by the passion with which passionate MPP defenders of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's court packing efforts are opposed to Mohammed's court packing. Shame on both sides. Ebronko and Adokononko. This an eye for an eye politics we are engaged in is damaging to Ghana. People should not metamorphose from party candidates in a very short years. In a few short years. The Chief Justice's removal process must be allowed to work. It is legitimate. The Constitution is being followed, and I am satisfied that the President has acted appropriately. The CJ, in her responses, has admitted to conduct that are unbecoming of a Chief Justice, and there must be accountability. The chief custodian of our laws cannot abuse them and beg for forgiveness. We can, as patriotic Ghanaians, be equally and firmly for the independence of the judiciary and accountability. Indeed, those who are for the independence of the judiciary should have condemned conduct by the Chief Justice and her colleagues that undermined or appeared to undermine the independence of the judiciary. When we sow corn, we should not be surprised to see corn growing. Let us be genuinely for both accountability and the independence of the judiciary. God bless you all, and God bless our homeland Ghana. Atakobna Kennedy, May 4th, in the day, and or the Democrat or the Babon. Doubt, Uniha.
TJ.
Chairman.
Michia Ubia Ote.
Yajodo.
Now, I'm and that underlines the hypocrisy. Many Yorkers say they will not, first and foremost, they have no locus. There's nothing they can do to anybody in this country. 5 months ago, they were in power. They did so many things, and the good people of Ghana rejected them massively. Their own constituents did not even bother to go and vote. And I don't know where they have got this strength to be saying we will resist. Who will resist it there? There's nothing they can resist because nobody has committed any crime. I'm yet to hear that the president has done something that is untoward. We're breaking the provisions of the Constitution. Just a few years back, when MPP were in opposition, I remember the things that they said about Charlotte Osei. When they come, they are going to remove her. Sabote fracture, maybe you can't even repeat on television on your side here. Mami, she doesn't have the merit. So the oyoba until or they don't okotone. Inoma be brave me wa CJ Chiwagana Canada Japan abroad all of them. Mami say edu baby mami krapu no pese edmanpo o jai no cut nefi. That's all I'm wondering. CJ and this pension aroba. Ibian kan somebody be apo no. Obi na why any petition. Ne President Mahama I was in Ada, and also our MPs, our lawyers should avail themselves to go to the bench so that there will be balance on the bench, which is a truism.
No, but Chairman, is that not to suggest that okay? So we are coming to power.
No. All the lawyers, even in, and that is why NDC for Omoko form me associate Lisdorf. Omoko some call you GBA, a form of GBA. Omo form me omo association. Because the since Akufo-Addo came, no, the court became polarized. Truth must be said. You remember can Minister for National Security. You remember what's his name? Kandapa.
Albert Kandapa.
At a meeting with the justices, he told them that no more no. National security. Me buana. I said no more decisions are more difficult, bano. The end is endangering national security. Afrobarometer, Wagana ha. They said the judiciary was so polarized and biased, even to the ordinary people. That is why when we went to the polls, the Ghanaians rejected the MPP from 130. Look, first and foremost, 2020, they had 169 votes, 169 parliamentarians. It reduced to 137. That should tell you the way Ghanaians were feeling that 4 years, how they were feeling about you, but you didn't see it. And then in 2024, they reduced the 137 to 88. So it started from 2020 when Ghanaians started reducing you to midgets in parliament. But the way I'm running the country, on your recent tour, thank you, so-called thank you tour, your own parliamentary presidential candidate, you went to sink $58 million in a hole. New York Times has even captured it. Mwaswa yedin. Cost of living, a cost through. Pensioners, they were dying in their numbers. And then today you say you are going to resist what? What are you going to resist? Ghanaians will never allow you to resist anything. By our constitution, CJ, you can write a petition in your office here. You can write a petition against your general manager.
Yes.
Now the command management. I was saying workers because CJ watch your petition come management or say sound TV camera.
Yeah.
Also strike. Strike. CJ. Also CJ at your petition here strike.
No, but in a situation where they share in the issues that I've raised in my petition.
I've asked you a simple question.
No, there.
Don't tell me the situation where I said simple simplicity. Watch your petition, management. Well, then your workers not even knowing what is in the petition, almost a strike. Does it make sense? They are this assembly. They crow only Ghana. Only Ghana need this procedure. The president, because one president told us there on your conveyor belt. There are some manual. Moya say obe follow procedure. No a conveyor belt. No, there are appropriate authorities to handle. While washing the hands. If you are someone mekano, it be yejuma. It is a man mekojina. NDC conference, no why statement. And which I said that means or attacking judiciary, or best judiciary, or by court in the more equijuma. Amukwejuma, local court is Omuyejuma. High court judge are sitting. What you say, you see, I call high court judge benefi, I call attacking. Until where that we see title, we see saving the judiciary. Is the judiciary sinking? If today you're sorry, you see CJ Wewua, and yes, it's no. Because of that, it's another government, but it's another CJ. No. I mean, what kind of logic is this? When you say Baumia, Abaka say warped logic. What kind of word, you know? Warped logic. Baumia, I say this is warped logic. Warped logic. If the fundamentals are right, today the other way is warped logic. If the CJ is being petitioned as Charlotte Osei was impeached, it's warped logic. Warped. They can't do nothing. They've got opposition one issue here, so they can. Who said this time? We have allowed them to, they can demonstrate for 1 week or 1 month, and they should go persistently. When the 5-member committee comes up with a verdict that the Chief Justice has done nothing wrong, she'll go back to her job. If the verdict comes that she has done something untoward, like your Kennedy just read, the law of the country will work. Don't forget that the president himself can be impeached.
Yes.
The president himself is not above the law. The Speaker of Parliament is not above the law. Donald Trump was impeached in America. Bill Clinton was impeached. Nixon was impeached. The whole mighty America, their president, they were impeached. Recently, a certain senator, as well called it bribe, he has been jailed for over 10 years. Oh man, you're jailed. The laws must work. The laws, the country must work. Nobody has infringed on any law. Nobody.
No, but Chairman, do you feel that as part of your constitutional amendment, we need to do something?
When we get to the bridge,
we
get to the bridge, we will cross it.
We are there.
No, listen, we wrote the Constitution in 1992.
Yes,
and we have worked with it. What you are saying, a certain person was impeached. A certain electoral commissioner declared results, and she was impeached on what? Procurement. So I don't control one ton a year. Once there's a law to amend the procurement, she was already there on the enufu na one the breast milk in. She has no milk in her breast. Where was the MPP? Did they go on demonstration that when they're impeaching the Yisino Mameno is wrong? We're in this country. And what kind of country do we want to build? In any case, it's not NDC who has sent a petition. The UMPP are going demonstration. What at all is in for you? That's the question. Why? But when you are appointing Supreme Court judges, where even some of the Supreme Court judges were even card-bearing members of your party, nobody complained. That judge is still working. He's still working. I love him to work. So what is this? That you people are, instead of you going to apologize to Ghanaians for the people who died, their pension were cut and they died. They couldn't have money to buy their diabetic medicine. They couldn't have money to... I knew a couple who were, the wife and the husband were working in the same bank, and the bank was shut down. They have become desperate. The man became an Uber driver. Their children were going to Morning Star because of their salary. They had to remove their children from Morning Star to go to another school. The deprivation that you caused, and today you are shouting high horse about Chief Justice. Nobody has sacked him. Yeah, she's just under investigation. And she has even been given the right to respond to her charges. CJ, why? What is this for? What kind of country are we in? For 8 years, we sat here. People's investments, bond that a safe investment, government bond. Now, your foreign minister is quietly cooling in Mayo Clinic in the U.S., safely cooling himself. Do you know a day how much they charge at Mayo Clinic? He's safe, and those people whose bond he truncated. Some of them have to look at our man at this Junction, Laboni Junction, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at his lamentation.
Come on.
Look at his lamentation. Why you Juma if you do baby poor Scott but to do an input because the investment in MP before are destroyed.
Before he passed away.
He passed away. Look at the statement he made. Then my brother sitting here, my young brother, I've told him, he is up and coming. Where he has to know. We have been there before. You understand? So it is better to be objective and call a spade, not a wooden spoon. Your people mess this country. Fortunately for you, a young guy, and you should be bold to call your people to order. Because going on the street will not change anything.
All right.
Let the verdict come out and let interrogate the verdict. That about you resist. There's nothing this MPP can resist in this country. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
All right.
They can't resist anything.
Chairman.
They have that no. They don't remember landing in CJ. They don't have the moral turpitude. They don't have, apart from Nyansa, if you're Nyansa, no, Omunibi. First, Omuni if you're Nyansa.
Hey.
Ampa?
NDC, MP before need if you're
Nyansa. And can confirm Musika say, I'm no. Ome po mo chow. They'll beg Ghanaians.
But
Chairman
Adukoka, is that not too harsh?
Cut me, me say MP before. Omunife Nyansa. Cut me. Omunife Nyansa, Nyansa. Omu say man for a bre, a man for a bre. A man for a bre. A man for a bre, a man for a woo. 8 years. A man me food they want to sit in for Minister of Finance. In crutches, in wheelchair. In wheelchair. Omunife Nyansa. Don't come and
add salt to
our wound injury. They shouldn't. It's only 5 months in government, and they should stop.
All right.
They should start talking 2030. That's the time they should start opening their mouths. When we have reset this country, because we need to reset this country appropriately, and we should stop this all form of politics.
All right.
Press conference, demonstration, it is dead and gone.
Chairman Emeritus Adekoka, former Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, and Yeten and Kano. Now, a few of the Facebook comments, Mamenko social media kakra. Enoch Amu, or say, let the MPP know that Ghanaians heard President Mahama clearly when he said he was going to remove the CJ from office and still voted massively for him. So now, what is their problem? They should give us a break from Big Joe, Takrade, Enode, Eno, Ebaye, Kwesi Reynolds, Ewo, Agona, Odobeng, or say our judiciary must not be infiltrated by political influence. This is an independent institution, and I cringe to see an executive arm of government trying to control it. Our democratic credentials must be preserved. Hashtag save our judiciary. Kwesi Reynolds, Ewo Aguna, Odobeng, and Odiwei, Ebaye, and a Minister for Labor, Jobs and Employment, Honorable Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo, and Nawoda. Happy birthday to you. And the message here is your dedication to creating opportunities and improving livelihoods is truly commendable. Wishing you continued strength, success, and good health in the year ahead. You can come through with your messages. Facebook, WhatsApp, baby, or the bar. You're back in kind at the amount. Honorable Ninoy.
CJ. On be a chairman at the island, no. Or say 2030. We give them 2070. We gave them, when we won in 2016, with 69 members of parliament, which I was a member. When we won them over 1 million votes, we gave them 2070. But we're giving 8 years. So therefore, so do ano Adom wira ebinya den. But I'm surprised. Say the NDC omuo fie nyansa no. NDC. That chairman claims omuo fie nyansa no. And omo boni say.
Omo boni saying.
Ni omo ye.
Oma ye den.
Where
every state institution have now turned into a political or a branch executive of NDC.
How do you mean, Chim?
Where you have a president promising,
yes,
right, that when he comes as a president, he's going to fill the Supreme Court with NDC executives. Where we have the president and have a communication director of the NDC who has been appointed as a communication officer or a secretary to the friend is saying Council of States. Why am I saying that? I'm saying it because if he has a gas to come and sit on the national radio station and tell us, say, at the discussion of the Supreme Chief Justice issue at the Council of States, he knows or more mutuma your friends say, yeah, suspended Chief Justice and no more or more staying here. Today, we are in this country where himself and the NDC were going all about campaigning and challenging the image and the reputation of the MPP and members of the MPP say, and galam say, whereby today their own member of parliament, Nicole so try a join. Do you understand? So on hene a try join a gunsa a customer chonsu, unim the substance of it. And then one customer station hamusta station joy, mo reporter. The report that is given about your friend is saying Galamsey site. Meanwhile, we were promised by one or more and say within a week they will stop Galamsey. We were promised that they are going to give in your friend is saying Galamsey no because of the finance and they are going to provide them with polytanks. Said by the president John Mahama when he was the candidate. Today, what is happening? CJ, me say I repeat. Yes, I take the advice of Chairman Adekoka. Yes, I'm a young politician. But I am young because I know what he has laid his life for this country. I never be do no edu. So mo be wo resist certain things and by now this country will not be where it is today. But because they resisted and on my Ghana baby one is as a result of their contribution to resist certain attempts by government, including President, may he so rest in peace, Rawlings administration, which I know he fought for it. He resisted any attempt to change the constitution of this country then. And I'm learning from him that any attempt to undermine the integrity and the reputation of the courts, Naya hiding behind a certain provision in the constitution, empower judges to the Supreme Court, and just as we have been hiding behind people to send petition, I'm going to call to Article 69 or Article 49, interpretation of the term of office of the president. And because per what President Mahama is saying, he has powered the Supreme Court with NDC judges, it will go. We will resist it. That's what I'm talking about. We will resist that. We will never allow that to happen.
To what extent will you go? Aside, demonstrating.
CJ, when we get there, we'll cross it.
We are there. Demonstration.
We have not gotten there. We have not gotten to where we'll resist the attempt of going to the Supreme Court for interpretation of his comeback for the third term. We have not gotten there yet. And when we get there, that is where we are saying so we'll resist and fight with our blood. Because it will never happen. Because said I became earlier, no. Obi adanfu. CJ, Obi adanfu. Obi adanfu. And I know for a fact that there are even NDC people, ministers, MPs, national executives, regional executives, who are also in support of it. That resistance. And when they come, you see what will happen in this country. My only fear of this country, as I said, now we have widened the political infiltrations in the FNSA positions in this country. That's why I have said, say, those who are being appointed today are waiting president's parliamentary vetting and confirmation. Should know, say, they are serving at the Supreme Court for only 3 years. For only 3 years.
Really?
In 2029.
Who says you are coming back?
In 2029.
Your party is
The same procedure.
Your party is
The same procedure president no so and no that same procedure no you be fast in 2029.
Sami Jemfi says that His Excellency the President won't be controlled by MPP.
We are not controlling the president.
That's what it looks like.
No, we are not controlling him. We cannot control him. There is no way we can control the president. I agree with him.
Sure.
Let me tell you something. If you have been listening very carefully to President Mahama, his last meeting with the CEOs and ministers in Ada, he said this is his legacy term. Legacy term. And that everything he's doing, people should remember this is a legacy term. The man has stood there and made a statement. He's not interested. Here is a man.
Meaning he has no plans to...
For term. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
He's a man who opposed Ouattara when he was OAU and ECOWAS chairman.
Yes.
Senegal is a few of the Gabonese president when they wanted to amend their constitution, when they wanted to amend their constitution to prolong their stay in power, he was then ECOWAS chairman.
Yeah.
He spoke against it. This is somebody who has told the whole world that this is his legacy term. And then you are just concocting stuff because you are just a figment of your imagination concocting stories.
Okay, Chairman, I'll come to you.
CJ, it is Unse Mika said there are people even in NDC who will support the resistance now. Unse it's confirmed. Unse Chairman is not even in support of it.
But he cannot do it. The constitution has not now. Who is going to amend the constitution? Don't forget that. Don't forget that there must be a referendum.
Chairman,
absolutely, yeah.
Chairman.
It's not an easy process.
You must have a referendum.
We have a constitutional review committee meeting, right?
Yes.
We have a constitutional review committee.
Yes.
So if you tell me, say, Onisa to me now.
Are you insinuating that it is part of what they are doing? The Professor H. Pempe committee. Really?
That's what me down. Look, we are politicians, so we know the conversation that we'll be having.
No, but you are aware you are on record, right?
That.
You are on record.
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying. Me say we know we are say we are doing here politics. And we'll be down for me. They are uncommon bet to be Chamadeko Kabo. They are uncommon me to me Fanembo. They are uncommon bet to be near Mabo. They are uncommon me to me Bo. Me, if the last time, Miniko, one of the stations, there were issues, and let me tell you, and let me say that in one way or the other, I should have listened to him. Miniko, one of the stations, and I can mention the name, I think KFM. And when we are politics, he advised me, okay, say, Ben, you are very young. And the last time I catch you say we were talking about the 4 ablikume Adom Nsem.
Yeah.
I said, look, I know what you did at your place. I know what is going on because I'm advising you. This time, don't run again. That's advice they give. I didn't listen to him. If I have listened to him, I can tell you, say, Anka, this time, if I really want to run again,
yes,
people will come and beg me to come. But because I didn't listen to me and I went, now it will be difficult for people to come and say, come and run.
Yeah.
And that's what advice that he gave me. That's what I mean. I Adom Nsem, I said, look, there are just a few people in NDC, just like him. Excuse me to say, and he's one of them. The point I am making is that the plan and idea of a constitutional interpretation or a constitutional amendment in what is going on in the constitutional review committee, you know, we have people who have appeared before them. We have people who have sent, your friend is saying, how do you call it, amendment. We have people who are talking. We have people that we have also conversing with. What do you think that is going to happen? Because there are certain provisions in the Constitution that some of us believe say there's a need for it to be amended. There are certain things we feel. That's why I'll give an example of even a tenure of office of these security officers. That every president comes and change them. All these things we need to look at it. But I am on the point they say we also have friends. We have those who are for and those who are against as to a possibility of an amendment, an interpretation of a comeback in 2028. So it is up to them to tell us that no, your assumption, your informations, what we are picking, it is not what.
CJ, as I see it,
but
I am. It is a frog. As a frog or ofinsu, no be catch no say crocodile no. We what I say. As I sit here, we are not even 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to go.
Oh, Chairman.
I know people who are lacing their boots.
Exactly.
They say, lacing their boot to start campaigning to take over from President Mahama.
As flag bearer.
As flag bearer.
I see.
And
but I'm being honest with you.
And there are also people who are also pushing
for
John Mahama to come back.
And I can assure you,
there are also people.
That's John Mahama as a Democrat. Somebody who has spoken against this will not want to soil his hands by changing the constitution.
I will be surprised.
I'll be surprised to change.
I'm seriously. I will be surprised.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised because it's politics.
No, I'm telling you.
Don't be surprised.
No.
Look, CJ, do you know why I said don't be surprised? Do you know why I said don't be surprised? On several occasions,
yes,
President Mahama himself have said, 4 years of a president is too small for him to do anything meaningful. Because I'm saying, we no more Nsem and the best we no more Nsem. 4 years no extra. So they should be able to increase the number of years to be a president. So if somebody have told me this,
Chairman.
At least I started politics when I was in Adisada College. And that was so many years ago. If I tell the time I left Adisada College, I won't share. And I'm a consummate Democrat. Even yesterday, Trump, of all people, made a statement that he's not going to attempt a third term. Because there are certain things which are suicidal. What I say? If the framers of the Constitution wanted us to have a 3-term presidency, they would have put inside. But the Constitution gives you 2 terms. It doesn't use the word consecutive terms. So it doesn't use the word. Look at the amount 2 terms. You can come and serve 1 term, go back and come and serve another term. You have served 2 terms. Simplicity. I want to assure my brother here that, like he said, NDC, President Mahama hasn't got those intentions. Don't let us pollute the system because of political expediency. More demonstration. It's not catching fire. So let us throw in. When I was listening to some of them say, President Mahama, or pack a court, so that Obeyat. But if you look at the composition of the court now, there are membership of 12. The only persons who were not appointed by President Kufuor was the current acting Chief Justice and Poma.
Was appointed by who? The current secretary was appointed by
President Kufuor.
Yes.
Yeah, by President. Yes, I made that statement. And then Poma by President Mahama. the rest of the judges, are appointed by MPP.
Apoma is a member of the committee.
Well, I mean, why do you have to interject? Say committee. So Marcus Samuano, it means that when you were in power, you were using the judiciary to do something. Mufin say Obiaba, obey cause a tangent. We are not going to go there.
Chief or baby, I am.
But how many political cases?
Nina Buter. The last time in Lucia, I told you I don't want us to go to the merits and the demerits of the actions of the Supreme Court judges. We don't want to do that. Let's be principled. Don't attack their personality.
All right.
So, Munya Butre, President Mahama is not going to park the courts for anybody because 7 no Maba Kawani. Mwankasa, mo time no, mo ye statement say, Dami, or your statement say, the workload at the Supreme Court is so massive that Meba doesn't matter what you said about it. What matters is that you justified it. So if you have justified it, and not more so, if you look at those who have come, have been appointed, apart from it, they deserve it. Somebody like Jamafe, he's the longest, he's the oldest, the most senior person of the whole bar. He has been appeal court judge for 15 good years.
Is it the same Jamafe Commission?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, but let me finish.
Okay.
First, then Lord Dennis, he has been appeal court judge for almost 11 years. When you see Jemefa is 11 years ahead of the CJ in the legal profession. When he went to the CJ, we became a high court judge, the CJ was in school. 11 good years. So what? And they have even lived with it. Brett Mensah, he is even going to the pension in about 10 months' time. Bafo Bonnie is one of the oldest but the most senior member of the Supreme Court.
All right.
So these people, they are deserving.
Chairman, Medase,
so why do you worry your head?
Chairman Emeritus Adekoka, a former Greater Accra Regional Chairman NDC, Sansuna Honorable Ebenezer Gilbert Ni na Nate, and Chairman also Osune. Honorable Ebenezer Ni na Nate, a former Member of Parliament Ablikuma Central. Now, Nyamiya Duwa Memenda Miniaba Empress Gifty. At the Telecel Ghana Music Awards, we have 2 nominations: Best Gospel Artist and Best Traditional Gospel Song. A very good morning to you, my beautiful sister Empress Gifty. Memenda, Nyamiya Adumwa, a noko fine, noko win, ye wini.